Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Bucket Talk Baseball podcast. My name is Christian Bond. As always, I'm joined by Jackson Kahn. Jackson, how are you doing today?
I'd be doing better, I'll tell you that much. I would be doing better.
Why would you be doing better? What's happened this week?
Well, we had an incident with Robinson Cano. That's what happened this week.
I think I've heard a little bit about this week. Do you care to fill everyone in, or?
Well, so it came out that Robinson Cano tested positive for a diuretic over the offseason, which is a masking agent for the use of steroids, PEDs, performance-enhancing drugs, not specifically just steroids, but performance-enhancing drugs. So, yeah, there's that happened. There's
a lot of layers to this story, and I like that you framed the time right off the bat. This happened over the offseason. Like you said, the diuretic, a masking agent. Major League Baseball was able to prove that he was using the diuretic to hide performance-enhancing drugs, not for any other medical reason. Mm-hmm. And that's why the suspension is treated for PEDs, like it was a PED.
Yeah.
And so that's going to put Cano out 80 games. He can return to the Mariners in mid-August. What's interesting to me is that on Sunday afternoon, he was hit in the hand, breaking a bone or two in there. And then shortly after on Tuesday, we learned that he's going to be suspended for PEDs. So if you connect the dots, he kind of figured he was going to be out for a little bit anyway, and said, I don't really think that I can appeal this as is, so I'll take my suspension now.
Yep.
You got words for that one? I mean, that's kind of...
So it's one of those things where he should have just owned up to it right off the bat.
Sure.
And like, hey, everybody, sorry, I did this, and I'll take my 80 games right off the bat. Sorry again.
You would assume that would be the right way to go about it, especially if you have known that this is over your head from the offseason on.
Yeah.
You can start the season there. Mm-hmm. You can make everyone mad and then let it play out and then rejoin the team when it's all said and done. But the fact that he's known about it, has played with it, and then the Mariners didn't find out that this was coming until Monday before it was announced on a Tuesday.
Yeah.
There's a lot wrong with that.
Yeah.
I feel.
There are other things that I don't get along with this timeline is, A, why didn't anybody else know? Dipoto and everybody else was shocked that this happened.
How do you not know?
Yeah.
How does that slip under
How does the MLB not let people know, hey, you might want to figure something out because you might be without your best player? Like, here's a heads up.
There's something to be said for the privacy of the player. Like, I get that, but also you would expect a little bit of character. I mean, it's tough to expect character and integrity from a person who is going to get caught for cheating.
Yeah.
It's like expecting a vegetarian to be in a meat shop. It's not going to happen.
Yeah, it's just you need to be in damage control at that point, and Cano, he could have been out ahead of this thing, and this could have been so... I mean, it still would have sucked, because not only is he out for the first 80 games, he's going to be out for the postseason too. But we'll get to that later. I'm really hot about that. But just on lines with the MLB, I just feel like they should have... There should have been some more communication by Cano or the MLB to everybody, just saying, hey, this is what's going on.
Yeah.
Or the process. Because I guess Robinson was appealing the whole entire time up until this point. And so why was the appeal process dragging on this long if it was found in the wintertime? And he was probably appealed right away. So why did it take so long for this appeal process to go through and it was still not resolved? So Cano was like, forget about it. I'll just take my 80 games now. That's the other thing. I don't understand why it took so long for this appeal process.
That's the other thing, though. It gets to this point in the year, and then after he gets hurt, he decides to take the L.
Yeah.
Was he guilty the whole time? He would have had to been. Because if he didn't do it, he would have fought it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And I mean, he did fight it, I guess, if we're going to drag out the timeline, but he, once he got hurt, knew he'd be out for a month or so. He was like, well, might as well make it 3.
Yeah.
That's what happened.
So...
Yeah, I mean, the statement he came out with was garbage. I don't have any.
It's just a copy and paste.
I don't have any sympathy. No.
Every single Melky Cabrera, Nelson Cruz, they're all copy and pasted.
It's kind of ridiculous. I mean, do you even have to come out with a statement?
No,
unless
I mean,
the statement says
you have to, because
unless the statement says I did that. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's
I don't
just,
want to read it.
You just have to. Just how society is, you have to come out with a statement in that situation, even though everybody knows what it's going to be. It's all going to be the same. Verlander even tweeted out that here comes an excuse in 3, 2, 1, just because every single guy has the same exact statement every single time.
Yeah, it's interesting that Verlander came out and did that, though. What fuel to the fire.
Verlander's a Richard. He's a Richard.
Being a little bit of a smart aleck there was Justin Verlander, but yeah, I mean, we can kind of turn this into the long-term conversation about Robinson Cano. He has labeled himself as a PED guy. Mm-hmm. I think that MLB's Brian Kenny came out and said that Robinson Cano is like one of the 10 best second basemen to ever play baseball. I think baseball started with, Jesus and his 12 disciples out kicking it around in the backyard. That's how old this game is, and for him to be one of the top 10 best ever is absurd, and, he was a lock to have his face, especially with playing a couple of years in New York. Mm-hmm. It's a lock to have his face on a plaque in there.
Heck, if he would have won a World Series with the Mariners, you could easily say top 5.
Right.
Ever.
Right. And now he's not that.
Mm-hmm.
Because we haven't seen very many people who have been directly hit by failing, a drug test get into the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Fringe guys, did he do it or did he not?
Yeah,
those guys make it in.
Rumor guys make it in. Piazza.
But
yeah,
guys who get hit with the definite.
Yeah. Well, at least not yet. This is definitely could be a debate for another time.
No, we could talk about this right now.
Okay.
I think it's a generational thing.
Yeah, I think eventually these guys are getting in. Whether it be towards the end of their run or posthum. Okay, after they're dead.
Sure.
Those, because it's the game at the time is this is what it is. Like I've read stories of people, Babe Ruth specifically, waking up in a ditch from the night before naked, not remembering where he was, needing to get to the game in like 2 hours. So things like that, and who knows what other drugs,
sure.
And so there's plenty of drugs that for each year. This just now it's more specific for the athlete, and people know what they're doing taking these drugs.
Here's what it comes down to, I think, as far as the people will get in eventually. I think that our generation, people of a little bit of a younger demographic, are like almost numb to the PED conversation.
Yeah.
Because it's been something that we've grown up with.
Yeah, for 15, 16, 18 years.
Right. It's always been a part of it, whereas the generation before ours, that's the most egregious sin you could have committed. You cheated the game of baseball. You were such a terrible person. Well, now, that guy got caught. Like when it happens to another person on a different team, they go, oh, that kind of stinks. And I don't think about it that long.
No.
But because it happened to Robinson Cano, the Seattle Mariners star player, and it's where I live and it's the team that I follow, I was all over it this week.
Yeah.
And I think that's the difference. Cano has like 6 more years left on his contract.
With a lot of money on it.
And then it's like, what is the process? Is it 5 or 10 years? Till you're eligible for Hall of Fame.
I think
it could be 5 years after, and then you're 10 years on the ballot, right?
Yeah.
I mean, there will be people our age who are established sports writers with a vote for this Hall of Fame by that time.
Yeah. It's just one of those things where people who are faces of a generation in baseball, Barry Bonds,
sure,
Roger Clemens,
sure,
Pedro Martinez. It's just all these guys who are just faces of a generation that they're eventually going to get in, just because that's how baseball was at the time. At least, again, that's my opinion. What's your thoughts? I mean, do you mirror some of the sort of the same things?
Well, like I said, I think that we're numb to it.
Yeah.
I think it's just a part of it for us, as opposed to it being the worst thing that could ever happen to older generations.
Mm-hmm.
It stinks.
Yeah.
Like, I don't mean to sound like, shoot them all up. Let them all be big as a house and let them go to work. Like, no, I'm not saying that, but I am saying, is it more understood by us? Is it more forgivable to us? It could be.
Yeah. I mean, it's...
I don't know. I don't know what to say.
It's one of those things I always tell people whenever we have this conversation, and it happens once a year, and somebody asks my opinion on it, I give them this. So if you were to tell me at the time, when I was a high schooler, hey, you're going to be a Division III baseball player, that's all you got. You can't take this, you're going to take a few years off the end of your life, and it might be crappy for a while. But you take these, you're a Division I baseball player.
Sure.
What is
the answer?
What? It's like, huh? Like, that's something you sit down and you think about, because that's a huge difference. that's a huge difference between getting a scholarship and paying for all 4 years, maybe squeaking it out, maybe getting drafted in the 100th round or whatever.
Sure.
But if it's the same thing on, hey, you could be an average MLB player, get paid right in the middle, or you could be a Hall of Famer. Which one would you take?
Well, and then you also spin the element of, you're growing up in a third world country.
Oh,
you have the ability to make enough money to support the next 15 generations of your family. You gonna do it? Come on. I mean, not justifying.
No.
But I'm saying the reasons for doing it make sense.
Yeah, it's one of those things where people who just Joe Schmo comes to one Mariner game, sits out in the cantina, and watches maybe 3 pitches of the game, isn't going to understand.
Sure.
But
there's layers.
There's layers to it. So it's not like, I mean, I'm really disappointed Robinson Cano.
Yeah.
And I have my own 2 cents about how I think that he took it, and that's just me hoping the best. But
you can speculate on it.
Yeah.
You think I think we've talked about it a little bit before this week, but what do you think? Do you think because it's also, I'll add this, the layers of the story is that people are now trying to go back to when the Yankees had a chance to re-sign him, and are saying that, hey, they were a little worried about this back in 2013.
Yeah,
they were worried about it, and then Mark Teixeira comes out yesterday and goes, yeah, I'm not surprised. It's a stretch. I'm going to say it right now. It's a stretch to say that the Yankees kind of had a feel like that's garbage. Then everyone else kind of would have had a feeling.
Yeah.
I don't think there are very many secrets.
No. Not on that end. And another thing is, coming from Teixeira as a kid, as a high school kid, if you would have said, hey, other than Alex Rodriguez, who else do you think took steroids on this team? I'd go Mark Teixeira.
Yeah.
Because he looks like a steroid guy. Always hurt, kind of always came back, big, hit a bunch of home runs. I'm like, oh yeah, he's definitely a PED guy. And he's smaller now that he's done playing, and significantly smaller. So it's just like, come on. So I'm a little heated with that.
So there's a way, but you're saying it's kind of obvious that he wouldn't be surprised for a reason.
No, I wouldn't. Yeah,
Teixeira's not surprised for reasons that we could then assume is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah,
right.
that could definitely be the case. And it's one of those things I'd like. So what I'd like to think that Cano did is that he took the Andy Pettitte route. A lot of people forget that Andy Pettitte took PEDs, but he took it to recover from an injury.
Sure.
Cano spent the whole year last year hurt. I think he
the year before that, it was the double sports hernia.
Yep.
Last year was a bunch of leg lower half things.
Yep.
The way that you're saying it makes a little bit of sense.
Yeah, he took it to get better, and then he realized I gotta get masking this stuff because I can't be showing this. But at least I'm ready for the season, and got caught with it. That's just what I'm hoping is the case. No, I mean probably not, but I really hope.
And then my issue with it then is, I didn't know that the Mariners didn't know until the day before. I thought that if it had happened in the offseason, somebody came up and nudged Mr. Dipoto on the shoulder and said, hey, I'm dealing with this issue. Yeah. Dipoto's been on the record before of talking glowingly about Cano's prolonged prime. Yeah. How he's been a good player for such a long time. Mm-hmm. Like, how are you actually going to say things like that if you know this is on the back of their mind? Yeah. But I guess it makes more sense now if they didn't actually know until the day before. So it's just kind of crazy. It's kind of crazy. I mean, I don't know. They got to recover now. Yeah. Well, luckily they have an all-star second baseman playing in the outfield. Unironically or not, right? I mean, they brought in a second baseman to go play center field, and all of a sudden, there's a huge gap at second base. Yep. Weird. Mm-hmm. Like, timing. We've talked about it. We've already said that word 12 times, I feel like, in this episode. But the timing of this, when the lineup was as deep as it was, and you take the 3-hole hitter, I'm not saying it's not a significant chunk, but there's still guys who can win you a game on this roster right now. Easily. Right? So, I guess, it's come out that Scott Service and Jerry Dipoto decided that D. Gordon, who was playing center field with Cano on this team, with Cano off the team, they'll slide D. Gordon down to second base, more of his natural position, and then have Guillermo Heredia or whatever outfield combination they want to have out there across the 3 outfield spots. And I think ultimately the decision came down to, who do you want in your lineup worse? Do you want Guillermo Heredia or do you want Gordon Beckham? Yeah, I definitely don't want Gordon Beckham. Well, I mean, that was the question. Yeah, right. Because when Cano was just hurt, they weren't going to move D. Gordon to second base. No, because they wanted 3 more years of him playing in the outfield. Well, now since Cano is gone until I turn 23 years old.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, a while from now, they are going to move Gordon back into second base and have the outfield figured out there. And
Yeah, which I think tonight might be, I'm trying to look it up right now, but I think it might be his first night tonight. At least that was
Gordon's
what I was hearing.
first night back at second base.
Yeah.
I wouldn't doubt it. They wanted to sneak that in through the weekend. And
Which I was pretty frustrated why he wasn't automatically switched. But I mean, I just realized he hasn't taken a ground ball in an infield since last season. So
since the moment he was traded.
Yeah.
He probably has not stood that close to the plate during a game unless being at the batter's box.
Yeah. So I was like, okay, all right. Now I was also heated when it first happened. So now I'm a lot more calm, looking at it like, okay, this all makes sense now, why everything's going in. The one thing that I was thinking about for the future of the Mariners, what if that D. Gordon stays there?
That's absolutely a conversation worth having.
Like,
because this is Nelson Cruz's last couple of months with the Seattle Mariners. They're not going to re-sign a 38-year-old power hitter who cannot run down to first base when he grounds out.
Yeah.
They're not going to do it. So, and we've talked about it a little bit before, but Cano still has like 6 more years of making $24 million a year.
Yeah.
If you want that contract to be worth anything, do you just take him off the field right now and move him to your DH, and now he's your 3-hole DH every single day?
Mm-hmm.
Do you do it that way, or what's going to happen?
I'm going to throw something out there. It might be a little weird.
Sure.
Cano's playing first.
Ryan Healy's there.
Nope. Mix and match. Both.
You would platoon Robinson Cano?
You'd switch them off. You'd switch them off with who's DHing and who's playing first with Ryan Healy and Robinson Cano. Because Robinson Cano, even though he looks lazy, quote unquote lazy, out there, he still has such a great glove and such great instincts out in the field. Why wouldn't you stick him over there at first?
I'm saying why wouldn't you? But you're also going to have a 25-year-old Haas over there at first base. I'm saying for the long term of the contract to make it worth anything, when Robinson Cano is 39, 40, and 41 and still a Mariner, if you just take him off the field maybe a year or two early, is it worth what you could add to the back end by taking some of the everyday sit here, go having a bat, sit here, go having a bat, sit here, go having a... Like, is that worth doing that?
Well, yeah.
For the longevity of the contract.
I'm just saying it's one of those things where it's hard to get... You're paying this guy so much money, it's hard to, like, not have his fielding ability out there in the field. Like, Ryan Healy's serviceable, but, I mean, he's a Gold Glove winning second baseman. So it's just one of those things where it's nice to have that in the infield. But Ryan Healy he does okay.
Well, I hear you, but long term.
Well, I'm looking. You can transition him off because Healy's playing most nights, but still not every night, and he has been hurt this season. So it's just one of those things where
he switch. I hear what you're saying.
Yeah,
and that would make sense as well. But for Cano, we've already talked about that legacy issue. He was like within reach of hitting the most home runs all time as a second baseman.
Yeah,
and if he were to cause a stink about setting that record as a second baseman, I think that he's tarnished that conversation.
Yeah.
And, we're not going to move. Like, you threw it away already, dude.
Yeah.
We don't care if you play first, second, or you DH or play in left field. We don't care anymore. Like, we got to use you the way we want to use you. Sorry.
Yeah.
I don't know. It will be interesting. I think it is a conversation worth having, though. Is D. Gordon now your second baseman for your Seattle Mariners for a long time?
Which I would not complain about.
No.
I feel it's more like a lateral move.
They don't miss anything defensively without Cano. Right?
No.
They might get better.
Yeah.
You think Guillermo Heredia can play a better center field than D. Gordon?
Guillermo Heredia has been playing so great. Oh, my goodness, it makes me so happy.
He's been like a fringe controversy guy for like not his fault though.
Yeah.
Like all year long with Guillermo Heredia.
Yeah,
so good. Like,
he's always in the talk, but
he's not doing anything like significant. Nope. He's just there and playing well.
Yep.
That's it. There's no bad thing to say about him.
Yep. Right guy, right time.
Sure. No, it's just you have to pay attention to him now.
Yeah.
All the time, the Mariners, because part of the Robinson Cano suspension is that he's going to miss out on about $12 million this year.
Woohoo.
And that frees up some of the options the Mariners have. As far as, can we eat a bad contract for the final 3 months of this season for a pitcher?
A pitcher or an outfielder.
Because they need both.
Yeah.
All of a sudden. Everything got longer with Cano leaving. Oh, we need this, and this.
Yeah.
Instead of it was just this or that.
Yeah. So it's not so this is very unfortunate, but it could be worse. Could very much be worse.
Yeah.
It's not like it's an injury and you're eating the contract. You get the money and now you're like, ooh, I have some stuff I can play with now. You can eat part of a contract for the last part of a season.
Yeah, I don't know. I just don't know. Because it's not... Someone asked me today if there's a quick fix to it.
No.
From a trade or something like that. And I was like, well, no. Because other teams that are ready to sell are going to wait because they want the best deal they can get.
Yeah.
And if you do that now, you don't know if you're getting the best deal you can get.
No.
So, yeah, it's just... I don't know, man. I don't know.
Well, it's one of those things also, if the Mariners do figure out a way to hold on and make it into the playoffs, they're going to be without Robinson Cano in the playoffs.
Yeah. It's so weird.
Which I'm more angry about that than anything else, because now you're punishing the team for having a guy that has PEDs. You're not punishing the guy who has PEDs, who's taking it. You're punishing the team for having a guy. Because it's no fair to the other 39 guys on the roster when they get to, or the 24 guys. What do they expand to? 30?
I don't even know.
I don't know. Whatever they expand to. Every other guy on the roster, everybody in the clubhouse,
in the organization,
you're punishing everybody for one guy's mistake. That's no fair.
And you're doing it twice.
Yeah.
The initial 80 games, and then once again,
yeah.
Sorry, you can't play in these games either. It's like, why?
Well, you could just be like, hey, you don't get a World Series ring if you do win the World Series. Like, you don't get a ring, but everybody else does. But you did get to. I'd be totally fine with that, because that's the individual's problem. Or he doesn't get the payday at the end of the year, whatever the bonus is for winning a World Series. You don't get all that. I would understand that, but taking away from the rest of the team is just, that's no fair.
Yeah, that's a tough one to swallow. That is definitely a tough one to swallow. But yeah, they're going to be interesting to watch. I think what we've seen in the week that has followed is a little bit more fundamental baseball, I guess. You're starting to see guys lay down bunts more than you did before.
Yep.
We saw a bunt win them the game in Minnesota, the makeup game they had to play. Logan Morrison tries to field it and throws it into right field.
Oh, Logan Morrison.
Hilarious that Logan Morrison made that error. But and then Gordon Beckham did it last night. Runners on first and second. No outs.
It was a bad bunt. I hopped up yelling at TV about how bad the bunt was, because you just have to angle the bat a little bit either way, not right back at pitch, but it's soft enough. It was all right.
Yeah.
As well as it's involved.
Yeah, but they didn't score from it.
No, so but it did the job.
It was the right play, and then they don't score from it. So that, I think, ultimately, without Robinson Cano, their margin for error is so slim.
Yeah,
you can't make a defensive error. You can't make an offensive error like the one that we saw. The bunt to no hits after that. It's
yeah. Yeah, it's one of those things where you have to, those guys who have been playing well all year need to keep playing well. The Mitch Hanigers, Kyle Seager needs to stay hot. D. Gordon needs to keep getting on. The 1-2 punch from D. Gordon, Gene Segura needs to be solid for the rest of the season for things to work out.
It's only a 1-2 punch if someone's there to drive him in.
Yeah.
And the guy that was there to drive him in isn't there anymore.
Well,
I hear you.
Yeah.
I hear you. But if 1 and 2 are getting on to watch Mitch Haniger strike out, Nelson Cruz fly out, and Kyle Seager roll over,
muy malo.
Bad. Like you said.
Yeah.
Bad. I hear you. Bad. However, in the same breath, like we talked about, the lineup was stacked. We considered it, 1 through 8, 1 through 9, pretty stacked.
Yeah.
Now it's just 1 through 7, 1 through 8.
Oh, that's like, now you're like every other team except for maybe the Astros.
Yeah.
Or the Yankees.
It's a significant loss, but like I said, if Ryan Healy can hit a 3-run bomb every now and again, if Mike Zunino can do the same, hit a couple every night, not every night, but every, now and again, and win you a game. Different guys win this team games.
Yeah.
That's a deep lineup. Not, they all hit very well.
Mm-hmm.
It's like they legitimately make a difference.
Yeah.
Between Seager, Haniger, Cruz, Segura, Gordon, Healy, Zunino. Like those, one night, each week, it could be a different guy, and the M's will be just fine. So
yeah, just like it was Guillermo Heredia a few nights ago.
A little walk-off single in the 11th inning. They did have a rough week, though, this week.
They did.
I think they've gone like 3 and 4.
If you're counting the Tigers series, they are 3 and 3. So it feels like a rough week, but they came out of it 500. Yeah. I feel like that's still a winning team. Like that's the team you want.
Yeah, so, and they had a lot working against them. You lose your best player, all of the buzz around it, as well as the, oh man, we don't have him anymore. Mm-hmm. It's crazy. So, yeah, it's just interesting time.
Yeah,
follow this team.
It's the Tigers series at home, at the Athletics, and then versus the Twins. Well, let's go that far out. How do you think this next three series is?
Sirai.
Yeah, how are they going to go?
It's not Sirai. I just said
it is now.
Yep,
it is now.
Sirai. How should they do over the Sirai? Well, anytime they play the A's, I'm going to say they have to sweep them.
Yep, that should be sweep.
Because I'm rude like that. Like, you have to sweep that team. There's 3 bats in the whole lineup that you have to miss. Granted, the last time the A's were here,
they didn't miss
Chris Davis's bat because he hit like 4 jacks in 2 games. It's like, dude, you don't have to throw him a pitch if you don't want to. No. Stop that.
Just Zunino, hold your hand out, and we'll go to the next guy.
You don't even have to do that.
I forgot they don't do that anymore.
Have service scream 4 balls, 2 outs, nobody on, 4 balls. Like, just don't let that guy beat you. There's like 2 other guys like that in that lineup, and they're beatable. Yeah. Oh, and Jed Lowry is maybe the best player. Like, he's so good for whatever reason.
I told you earlier that Jed Lowry just seems to beat up on the Mariners and other teams in the division. He just does that.
He's raking. Yeah. He's so good right now for no reason. So 4 bats. We'll call it 4 bats that you have to miss in that lineup. Other than that, win the game. Yeah. So I want to say they sweep the Athletics. The Tigers, they lost last night, but they got 3 more games left, counting Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Mm-hmm. I'd like to see them go 2-1. Right?
At least it's just definitely, you could definitely win the series. The Tigers aren't nothing special. Wow, yeah. Aren't anything special.
Where are you from? No, I'm just kidding.
They ain't nothing.
They ain't nothing, but they aren't.
No, they're not.
So, yeah, I would like to see them, but 2-1 is what probably we could expect. Mm-hmm. And then the Twin series, is it 3 or 4?
3.
Hopefully win that series.
Yeah, you should. They should win every series. They should be able to win every series. At least split with the Tigers, but if they win the next 2 series, it's like, whew, okay, all right, it's all right.
Fine. Yeah. But then they go on once the calendar flips to June, you get out of the way, because I believe there's a road trip where they have the Yankees and the Red Sox at both of those places,
and the Orioles.
Orioles aren't good.
Well, but still, you just came off of.
But you could have the hangover of going 1-5.
Yeah, you just got off of playing Yankees Red Sox, so the Orioles may feel like you may just be trying to recuperate, and then you get all of a sudden
it could very much be a recovery series where they get slapped around a little bit. There's a real chance you can go 1-5 in 2-3 game series with both those teams.
Yeah, so it goes for the rest of the series. So after the Twin series, you have the rest of the month. It goes to Rangers. So
should win that.
Yeah, and then you got the Rays. Should
win that.
Should win that. Then all of a sudden it's Astros for 2, Rays for 4, Angels, who
are good.
Yep. Okay, listen to this. Angels, and then at home, Red Sox at home, at Yankees, at Red Sox. That sounds terrible.
Yeah, it's awful.
If you come out of there 500, then you're feeling good.
You're fine. Because yeah,
but that's tough.
But to be fair, have they played anyone that's very strong throughout the entire month of May? Very rarely. They played the Angels once.
Yeah, Angels are the only team that's coming on. Angels, Astros.
So you had to assume that at some point it's gonna go, oh, they're the Yankees are. Wow, they're really good.
Yeah.
So I don't know, man. It'll be interesting to see. They're just going to be intriguing to watch as far as what the front office decides to do, how the team plays without Robinson Cano, what they can get away with, what they aren't able to get away with anymore. It's just there's so much to watch with this team. It's crazy.
It'll be interesting also to see what Robinson does from here on out as a professional, whether he tries to make amends for what he's done, take guys under his wing. Hey, don't do what I did. Be kind of a ambassador for the sport. If he can at all, or if he's just going to kind of fall back in the shadows, hope people forget about it.
I think, I'm not dissing on the guy, but I think the second one is more likely.
I think so too. I don't want it to be true.
But he's always been second fiddle. Even him being the star in Seattle, he's like a B-level star.
So to be honest,
he's a forgotten about star.
I'm gonna throw it out there. Robinson Cano is one of my favorite players of all time.
Sure.
It was one of those things where I asked to be in the MLB fan group for the Mariners.
Sure.
The Mariners just made a fan group on Facebook. I want to be in this. I want to talk some sports with some people, mix it up. And the person I put down, I was like, Griffey, Egger, Buhner. I put down Joey Cora, and then I backed out. I'm like, nah, I'm gonna do Robinson Cano. Put it in. 2 days later, this comes out. So I'm like, ugh. So it's one of those things where, and I was a big fan of him when he was a Yankee too.
Yeah.
Out of all the guys, it was Jeter and him. I loved them up the middle. It was just, this is actually it broke my heart right when I heard it. And I was like, then
sad, mad action, right?
Yeah, and then I was just mad because it was like, really?
Yeah.
And so that's why I'm trying to give him the benefit of the doubt. But I don't think it's.
I think that in New York he was a second-tier star on that team. Obviously, like you said, with Derek Jeter and everyone else that was over there. Mariano Rivera, all those guys that were
Alex
there.
Rodriguez, yeah.
Cano was the second fiddle, and even coming out to Seattle as being the guy, like I said,
he was second too.
A forgotten about star.
Yeah, and he was out, and it was still when he got here, he still wasn't the dude. Felix Hernandez was the dude.
Sure.
And so when you talk about people who make impacts, you think Felix, and then you think of Cruz, and then you think of Cano.
Still, even though he's the man that's paid. So
yeah.
Just an interesting dilemma is Robinson Cano being gone from the Seattle Mariners for probably about 77 more baseball games. We'll see him sometime in August.
Yeah.
Be interesting. How do you think he will be received once he gets back?
Yeah, I was
ahead.
thinking about that. He's going to get booed. I think he's going to get booed.
Booed no matter what.
Yeah.
Because
booed.
people have put stipulations on this.
Yeah.
If they are still 5, 6, 7 games over 500, I think people take him back and go, all right, help us out for 40 more games.
He'll still get booed, but then it would be like people will get over it as long as the Mariners are winning and they have a chance.
If they're on the other end, if they're 5 games under when he comes back,
it's going to be bad.
He should get crucified for the final 40 games.
Yeah. It'll be bad.
Because it's his fault. I mean, there's no other way. You can't point at anything else. It's your fault.
Yeah. Now, if anything went bad and this never happened, it's not his fault. But now, if things go bad, it's on him.
But even right or wrong, even after I just said that, I was like, if it's not his fault, it's his fault.
Yeah.
Because he's been gone.
Yep.
So it's just, I think the stipulation of if they're winning, they'll boo him, but they'll be ready to take him back and have him help for the last 40 games.
Mm-hmm.
If they're not, R.I.P.
Yeah. Yeah.
R.I.P. We should put this one to bed. Speaking of R.I.P.
Okay.
Any other final thoughts? I got to get out of here and get on with my day.
Yeah. Going to the game tonight. Excited to see Paxton. Yeah. Paxton placard night. They're actually, that was we were just going just to go because it was cheap ticket night, but they're giving out placards.
I thought about it. I thought about going, but
from
I got
Times,
stuff going on this weekend, so I gotta actually do my capstone presentation. It's due on Monday.
Ooh.
And your boys got to put it together tonight and Sunday.
Yeah, you got 48 hours. Yeah,
I don't want to look at it. I'm so nervous.
You're fine. You just get it over with.
That's actually how I'm looking at it.
Yeah.
My dad is something else because I just learned last night from not his mouth that he was taking the day off to come watch the presentation.
Oh.
I didn't know that. It's classic though, is it not?
Yeah.
Isn't it classic? He just didn't know. He was going to just be there.
Yep.
In the back of the room, sitting there with a grin on his face as I get ready to say the last couple of words that I need to say in order to graduate from college. He was just going to not say that he was going to be there and then just show up.
Is Jonah going to be there?
I don't know.
Oh, because if Jonah's there, you might pop. You might pop.
It's going to be a mess,
He'll do what he can to pop.
It's going to be a mess. I'm anxious for it, but yeah. Anyway, final thoughts before we get out of here. No more Cano for a couple months.
Yep. Just let's go M's. Let's pitch it well. It's got to keep it. The pitching staff's been good. They got to keep pitching it well. The guys just have to do their job, and I think if they come out of this so unscathed for the most part, it'll be all right. I think things will be all right.
Interesting to watch. Want to thank you for tuning in to the Bucket Talk Baseball Podcast. Please let us know what you think in the comments section. We love talking to you down there below. What were your immediate reactions when you heard that Robinson Cano wasn't going to be a Mariner anymore? Wasn't going to be a Mariner for 80 games. He'll be a Mariner. He'll just be gone for a while. Do you think that moving Gordon to second base is the right move? Are you happy to see Guillermo Heredia playing more? Can they sustain what they've done with Robinson Cano, only without him? Let us know in the comment section on the Half Athlete Radio YouTube page. So for Jackson Kahn, my name is Christian Bond. We are out of here. See ya.
See ya.